our veterans climb back aboard the People Mover, as we've affectionately named it here. Please, another huge round of applause for them, lest we forget, and we never will, ladies and gentlemen. And for all of those serving in uniform, whether they be police officers, whether they believe are emergency workers, those in uniform in front of us now, including our band members, a round of applause for them as well. They don't get to hear it nearly enough. And of course, Chief Warrant Officer Dennis Walker, as he directs the command band too. A round of applause for the band and our pipes for the 402. And to hear the RCAF March Past on the pipes is a very moving thing, isn't it, folks?
Knife edge should meant their travel. Oh yes, and it's a down plane. They now have separated their parachutes and they are hurtling to the ground at more than 40 miles an hour. Beautiful barrel roll. They're distancing themselves constantly from one another, trying to get closer and closer to the ground.
And of course, another former Snowbird lead, Dan Dempsey, at the controls of the F-86 as we speak. We're about to see something very special, aren't we?
Thanks, Ricky B. It's a great honor to be here, and as you said, Dan Dempsey's at the controls right now, flying the F-86 Sabre in the Centennial Heritage Flight, and later on today, I had the honor of taking it up and flying with the Snowbirds, which, of course, for me to be able to plug in with the team again, the lead of the Snowbirds right now, Major Chris Bart, was actually my winger in 2002 and 2003, so to be able to fly formation with him with this iconic, beautiful aircraft that is just steeped in Canadian history is just a true honor.
A lot of history we'll be celebrating in these 100 years, and at least a half dozen of the names that are emblazoned on the Century Hornet were from this area. Wap May, Minarski, the Victoria Cross winner, and so many others. So we've got so much of that history celebrated in this area, in this great province as well, in Southport particularly. Here they come, Steve, and we're going to turn things over to Jeff down below. Folks, from the right, here comes your Century Heritage Pass.
Actually stormed the beaches of Normandy 65 years ago, and of course that's the Royal Winnipeg Rifles and the Fort Garry Horse. So it just doesn't get any better to have the Centennial Heritage Flight flying on such a significant day as today.
Again, the Century Hornet in the lead, and as I've been mentioning in this once in a lifetime, once in a century paint job, they've included 100 names of historical aviators from Canada. And so many of them, well, at least a half dozen of them from this region. But on there, of course, quite a few veterans as well, some who gave their lives, and one special note toward the tail of the aircraft for the unknown airman, which I thought was a very nice touch.
Absolutely. You know, and getting back to Normandy, the unknown airmen, that's very significant. It wasn't just an Army effort at Normandy. It was a combination of some spectacular planning and execution by our Army, Navy, and Air Force to make that happen. Here they come again, folks.
And this pass dedicated to those who serve.
Sure, we could get a good look at the...
Today, signing autographs and telling you about this great project, this piece of flying history, as we recover Greg Weed now and the Snowbird 2.
Yeah, that's right, Ricky P. We'll definitely be back with the F-86. You can see the Snowbird rolling out right now, Greg, on the runway. And fly past. So, of course, with the Centenaire on the ground now and the F-86, when we plug that back in with the Snowbirds, it's very historically significant, the fact that we're flying this F-86 with the Snowbirds. Now we're going to fly past. That's the sound of the F-86 Sabre plugged in with the Snowbirds today. Just think of the history behind this. It's really quite spectacular, the fact that this aircraft is flying. It's come from a partnership between the Department of National Defense, Minute Wings of Canada, who restored the aircraft, and the civilian sector. You know, folks like WestJet, my employer right now, giving us time off. Folks like Discovery Air that have so generously donated the money to make this project happen. The Golden Hawks were formed in 1959 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of powered flight in Canada. So we thought nothing more fitting could we do than restore an F-86 Sabre and fly it again for the 100th anniversary of flight in Canada. And you really are the grandfather of the Snowbirds. In 1967, for the 100th anniversary of Canada, we stood up the Golden Centenaires. 1969, Mr. O'Beeville had a great idea to use those airplanes and turn them into another formation demonstration team. So in 1971, the Snowbirds were formed. 38 years later, here they are, still your national demonstration team. So for me, it's a real honor to be able to fly that F-86, and I really look forward to performing for you this afternoon. Have a great day, folks. Stay warm and enjoy the show.
Steve Will, thank you very much. And he will be flying the Sabre jet for us this afternoon. And of course, Dummer just bringing back to Earth now the Century Hornet. And later, hopefully you'll get a close-up look, or maybe if you have great binoculars, as it taxis by, you'll be able to see.
Moves into final position for our second pass. We'll have 4 in total today. Let me tell you a bit about our team. So by performing spectacular parachute acrobatics and daring flight formation, this team enhances the public awareness of the high standards of training, professionalism, and teamwork prevailing throughout the Canadian forces. And also, since all our team members are from different trades in the Canadian forces, this is a great platform for us to reach out directly to you to talk about, as we land, about what we do and what makes us proud members of the team. And there they go. That is our first passage just exited the plane. We have Corporal William Van Dyke from St. Thomas, Ontario, and Sergeant Réal Barry just following him closely. They're closely followed by Corporal Andrew Curtis from Halifax and Sergeant Brad McKenzie from Port Albany, British Columbia. Our low team is moving closer and closer together into setup position. They're attempting to hook their parachute together. Now keep in mind today, this is a low show. They have a very few moments to be able to dock their parachutes. And Corporal William Van Dyke is just closely to Sergeant Barry. And it's a second attempt. Our first team is now flying in the biplane position. It looks like Corporal William Van Dyke is moving down the line, the parachute line of Sergeant Réal Barry. As you can see, their parachutes are getting closer and closer together. Now right now, the team behind them, Sergeant Mackenzie and Corporal Curtis, are now in a side-by-side. Sergeant Mackenzie has moved down into the line of Corporal Curtis and has wrapped his legs around the hips of his partner. And they're now in a knife edge, distancing themselves, preventing the speed of their horizontal gravity closer and closer to the drop zone to make a low separation. A carving turn from Sergeant Brad Mackenzie. They come in facing the wind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Corporal William Van Dyke, Lieutenant Ian Benny, Corporal Andrew Curtis, and Sergeant Brad Mackenzie. Our Hercules plane is already in the sky, ready for our second pass. Is chasing Private Stephen Massicat to get into setup position. And already Sergeant Heglin and Corporal Richard Nelson has docked into a biplane. Many other armies in the world feature skydiving teams, but the Skyhawks are renowned for daring flight formation and aerobatics. They perform their show in a way that is safe from themselves and the surrounding crowd, but still, kids, do not try this at home. Our first team is now in a side-by-side position, as we saw before. And they're now, yes, it's another down plane. They're hurtling to the ground at 40 miles an hour. That position is extremely strenuous on their aerobatic grips. They're holding their legs together, docking, so that the formation will stick. And it's a carving turn so that they come over the show center for the rest of their show. It's another down plane. They're coming closer and closer to the ground at the moment. Our second team in the sky is moving into a side-by-side position as we speak. And let's listen for them coming in. Close, oh my, it's a low separation. Well done, Private Stephen Massicat and Corporal Silaskina. Our second aerobatic teams are now in a side-by-side at the moment and are coming over the show center. Our plane is just over them. It's a barrel roll, and this is so traveling under their partner up to the other side. Straight in front of us. Way to bring it down low. Well done, Sergeant Travis Heglin and Corporal Richard Nelson. Our third team is Sergeant Carl Caldwell, our troop warrant from Thunder Bay, Ontario, and Corporal Christina Villeneuve. Corporal Lee Wilson is now released, is now spiraling down to the ground with a lanyard tracing behind her. Ladies and gentlemen, let's count her turns. That's already 6 turns. 7, count with me. 8, 9, 10, 11, she must be getting dizzy. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, she's right over show center. 19, 20, 21, 22, beautiful spirals, well performed by Corporal Lee Wilson from Ottawa, Ontario. She can hear you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's applaud. Let's let her hear you as she comes up for her final landing. Our second team, Special Stephen Dumont and Sergeant Billy Galls, are now spiraling the sky in a biplane. They're coming over the show center. That's over 500 jumps performing such aerobatics. As he releases his partner, and they turn on a carving turn, sharp, facing the wind. And let's hear it for them. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Dominique Dumont, Best Seaman Dominique Dumont, and Sergeant city calls. Our last men out at the moment are Sergeant Kyle Caldwell, Corporal Christina Villeneuve, and Private Annie Thibodeau. It looks like Private Thibodeau is way in the sky, high in the sky. She did not make it to the formation. She is flying the Skyhawk signature flag. If you look up in the sky, two more jumpers are right behind. Those are from 435 Squadron. They're SARTEC, Search and Rescue. Ladies and gentlemen, Corporal Christina Villeneuve and Sergeant Kyle Caldwell are now in a side-by-side formation. They're right over the show center. It's another downplane. They've distanced themselves and are foaming closer and closer to the ground. They've now released to come in for a safe landing. They're closely followed by Private Annie Thibodeau, flying and closing their show with the Skyhawks flag. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for all the jumpers that jumped here today, and for Private Thibodeau just landing at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, the Skyhawks, let's hear it! As you see in our show, completely to the right, there are two white targets right to the light sign. That is what these technicians are trying to reach. They're specialized in precision landing, and that is the competition they're trying to do here today. Search and rescue technicians have to be very precise because they sometimes land into forest fires, dangerous regions, or even trees. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for a search and rescue technician just landing at the moment. Let's encourage him just before the Skyhawk salute. Well, there's a lot of wind, so he's drifting back. I don't know if he's going to make it on the target. He's lifting his feet, so he creates less drag. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him coming down right now. Search and rescue technicians. Ladies and gentlemen, the team, the Skyhawks, Canadian Force Parachute Demonstration Teams will now move forward and offer you the official Skyhawk salute. Here they are, your 2009 Canadian Forces Parachute Team, the Skyhawks! Technicians to your right, ladies and gentlemen, here. As we have the people flying transport squadron flying by. This concludes today's Skyhawk performance and parachutist performance. On behalf of Canadian Force Parachute Team, the Skyhawks, our team captain, Lieutenant Navy James Seating, our team Warrant Sergeant Kyle Caldwell, we would like to thank you for your hospitality. We hope you enjoy the remainder of your day here. In the meanwhile, look us up at www.skyhawk.forces.gc.ca. Since that's a lot to remember, make sure to see one of our team members and they pack their parachutes in the crowd. Ask for a sticker for your kids, a poster, or any of the items they give them, as you'll find our website on them. This was Captain Ian Laporte. You were a great audience. It was a pleasure being with you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
That is a formation of Robe aircraft, which I'll tell you more about in a few moments as you see the Hercules quickly descend onto the runway. course, they don't need to use the runway. We have two parallel runways here. But the Groves taking off and getting ready for a formation flyby of some of the aircraft that are used for training right here at Southport. In a few minutes, the Grove demonstration will include flybys, 4 different formations, to give you an insight into some of the training and procedures that go on right here at Southport. From Canada Wings Aviation Training Center, and they will get used to the conditions today, the wind, at the controls from Southport. Very quiet Pratt & Whitney turboprop engines, lots of power as you can see, as up he goes. This Beechcraft King Air C-90B, the multi-engine aircraft used by the Air Force at Canada Wings here. The centerpiece of Phase 3 multi-engine pilot training, reliable, proven training aircraft, modern avionics suite inside, eminently suited for teaching multi-engine, multi-crew, and instrument flight rule skills. A great lead-in for pilots destined to fly operational multi-engine aircraft like the Hercules you've already seen demonstrated. As the aircraft sets up for a high-speed topside test, so you can get a look-see and a nice picture under these clouds today. And right now, as the airplane turns, it's building up a speed of about 220 knots, or around 420 kilometers per hour. Corrected, it's the slow speed pass, the dirty pass, with the gear out, the flaps down. And there is a listen to and a look at this quiet and fast training aircraft here from Canada Wings Aviation Training Center. Born at Watson Lake, Yukon, Captain Kearley, a resident of Portage, and his wife Michelle, daughters Grace and Abby, all here. Out of those turboprop aircraft, the very tips of the blade pointing into the air at the supersonic speed gives you that nice, sweet sound. Where our license plates are emblazoned with the words "Je me souviens," which means I can't drive. But I want to here, look it to the left. Look at this. 4 Groves. And I'll tell you all about these airplanes as you watch this pretty formation fly by. me point out to you, while they just flew by in that nice tight formation, how difficult that is. Formation flying is something not every pilot can do. Basically, the lead pilot's watching where they're going. The outers are looking in and trusting it completely, and the slot guy, the guy behind, is looking up at the tail in front of him with his propeller trying not to bunch it off. And in these windy conditions today, these instructors are making it look incredibly easy, and their families are here today as well, and I can't wait to tell you more about them. I just stopped to take a video myself. I do a lot of air shows across North America, and I've never seen a formation of globes, so this is new to me, and it looks terrific. And let me tell you about, again, the human beings involved in this flyby, because all of our pilots, and by the way, if you want to take this on, this challenge in your life, the Air Cadets are here to talk to, the Air Force is here to talk to. This is a great program here for training. You can stop dreaming and start flying. Reminiscent of the musket goals that used to fly out of here. Thank you, Bruce Neiman. Reminding me of the formation that used to fly out of here, the training formation, in the yellow and red airplanes of the day. Leading this formation is Major Paul Adams. Major Adams has been in the military for 20 years. Over 4,000 flying hours in helicopters, multi-engine and training aircraft. And in the number 2 position, Captain John Setluck. Joined the military in 2000, a military flying instructor, has 1,800 flying hours. Captain Martin Combe is flying in the number 3 position. Captain Combe has served for 20 years, 4,500 hours, served as a helicopter pilot, military flying instructor. And J.P. Marcoux, Captain J.P. Marcoux is in the number 4 position. He has 20 years in military service and 3,200 flying hours, and has flown a tactical helicopter and a military flying instructor as well. Your Grove G120A formation. Major Paul Adams will break first for landing, followed by Captain John Setluck, then Captain Martin Combe, and of course Captain J.P. Marcoux in the globes. So Dan, we have the Outlaws in the sky. We also have a Sea King inbound.
A Sea King?
A Sea King.
Wow, you don't see those every day.
No, sir, you won't in the future very much longer.
Is there a ship tied up in Winnipeg or something we don't know
Well,
about?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. The Sea King is sailor weight. Of course, we include the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy here this weekend. And I should point out, too, the Skyhawks are led this year by a Navy guy. Figure that out.
I don't know. Where's this world going?
I don't know, Dano. But we also have the Sea King here because it's en route from the East Coast to the West Coast. So we'll get a sample of its capabilities here as it makes its way out for the 2010 Olympics. Because again, as the Colonel mentioned off the top of the show, the military very much involved in that. Of course, I'm an idiot. They're not going to brake until they go into the wind, right? So here they go. This time round.
You say they're breaking wind?
No, sorry, Dano. They're braking to land. And there goes Major Paul Adams first. Right behind him is John Setluck, then Martin Combe, and of course, last but not least, Captain J.P. Marcoux in the Canada Wings Aviation Training Center, Grove G120A. Helping out all of our sponsors. We can't thank them enough. It takes a lot of people, a lot of community, a lot of volunteers to put together an air show.
Hey, Rick.
Yes, Dano.
Remember you were asking me how come my generator was so quiet?
Yes, Dad. Why is
Honda
it so
Portable
quiet?
Generators are proud to be a sponsor of Mach 1 Productions, sound and communication provider for this great aviation event. For super quiet, easy to carry power, you can't do better than a reliable Honda. They're perfect for cabins, tent camping, working outside, tailgating, outdoor receptions, backup power when the lights go off at home. The list of uses goes on and on. Plus, Hondas are built to handle sensitive equipment like cameras, computers, and cell phone chargers. And with an extensive network of over 2,500 dealers coast to coast, you'll get service and expertise that's second to none. Hey, RV owners, think of this. With a Honda generator, you can run everything from lights to a microwave to air conditioning without being tethered to a campsite hookup or running down your battery. Honda makes more portable generators for more uses than anyone else. And like I said before, they're so quiet, they never interfere with the fun or atmosphere around you. Honda generators, the power.
And a range of pickup. Here comes the Sea King from the left. Look at this thing. And listen to this thing. Captain Chris Bowers is at the controls, and he's from St. John's, Newfoundland, ladies and gentlemen. And Jeff Fletcher sitting beside him from Portage La Prairie. The power climb of the big Sea King helicopter. About 10 tons of aircraft there. And at times it will look like it weighs nothing. Navigator on board is Captain Mike Gray from Fredericton, New Brunswick. The ABS techs, Master Corporal Mark Quaid from Winnipeg, Manitoba on board. Master Corporal Eric Dufour from Saguenay, Quebec. And the ABN tech is Corporal Ross Bradley of Toronto, Ontario. Now listen to the power. These big blades or rotating wings. Keeping the air basically. Creating a downwash of over 60 miles an hour, holding tons of aircraft up into the sky, and that tiny little propeller at the back, stopping the whole thing from counter-rotating all around itself. Which means, basically, that helicopters are not easy things to fly, and helicopter pilots are very busy. They've got both hands occupied, one on the control stick, one on the cycling, both feet on the pedals, as they bring it into a stop now without getting into that downwash and make it look like it weighs nothing. Hovering without all of the fancy pants electronic aids of the modern helicopter era. Our forces personnel trained to gracefully turn this massive helicopter around as it would, over water, over land, with warring approach of our ships. For a long, long time, as we celebrate 100 years of aviation, this helicopter has been with us through about half of it. Imagine that. There's a wave from the pilots, folks. Wave back, kids. Everybody. And from that side of the helicopter, that's our hometown boy. That was Jeff Fletcher giving you a wave. Whose mom and dad, Jody and Andy, are here. And the helicopter is settled without getting caught in that downwash. We decided to put it down. Remember, the air underneath this helicopter now is being pounded down toward the ground. Should that helicopter get caught in that downwash, it will go down as well. So again, with a great deal of care, and as it settles again without getting caught in, now changing direction, transitional flight. very difficult in helicopters, and our crew today making it look so easy. Jeff Fletcher and Kurt Bowers working in the seat of the cockpit right now, one way and the other way. Moving that helicopter around the back part now, around the tail and then sliding back. And again, coming to a stop with the hover. Pulling the point down. Against the law of gravity. All of that heavy jumping in the air. And capable of lifting even more. Submarine, Dan, are sound pretty appreciative of the fact that they didn't drop a torpedo in the middle of the prairies. Always nice to have the Navy out. Now, that'll be brought into the static display. As we bring the Army into our display, both on the ground and in the air in just a few moments. Captain Isaac Scoose is going to tell us more about what we're about to see here.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Isaac Scoose. I am the battery commander of Portage la Prairie's very own 13th Field Battery, and it is my privilege today to be here as the narrator during the Army and Land Forces display. We have a great show planned for you, including a section attack, a helicopter insertion. The Armored's going to show you how they do their advance to contact, and of course the C3 howitzer is going to be firing off 2 rounds blank. I'll give you another warning before it fires. You may want to cover the ears for the children. It's quite loud.
Did you just say you're going to fire a howitzer?
Affirmative.
Okay, I would appreciate a heads up.
Absolutely.
A howitzer.
A howitzer.
Dan, we're firing a howitzer. We didn't see that at the San Francisco Airshow, did we? No howitzer.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at stage left over the treetops, you see 2 CH-146 Griffin helicopters coming in. They're going to be doing an insertion with their infantry soldiers in stage center. If you look into the infield, you'll also see the armored reconnaissance, the Fort Garry Horse, moving from left to right with their G-wagons. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Canadian Forces Utility Tactical Transport Helicopter, commonly called the Griffin.
folks, you want to applaud, that's fine. They don't get to hear that very often. The men and women in our forces, they lay it on the line for us, so we get these rare opportunities to be able to give them some applause. Don't sit on your hands. As you can see, they're about to embark on a simulated mission, but in Afghanistan, as they're doing the very things we're watching right now, their lives are on the line. And you see the troops deploying. These helicopters from here, of course, known as the Outlaw, the Griffin. The insertion complete, and out they go. This is amazing to watch. A rare opportunity to see how it's done. As the Griffins, of course, support our troops now in Afghanistan. You're not going to fire the howitzer yet, are you?
No, it's going to be a little bit. If you have a look to our stage right there, the Fort Garry Horse, they're preparing to give a demonstration of their advanced contact. Third primary purpose of the armored reconnaissance is to see and not be seen. So they're going to give a full demonstration as they move forward, practice spotting an enemy, and then withdraw under fire.
Considering, of course, the enemy wouldn't freshly mow their lawn before its insertion like we did. Normally they'd be very hard to see, but this is going to be very interesting. That's the howitzer, isn't it, over there?
Affirmative, if you look stage left, we've got the C3 howitzer pulled behind the HLPW. Signals as well as the radios as they stop, cover each other before taking the next bound, moving and looking for enemy contact.
Seem to be looking at you, Dan.
Uh-oh, they just hit somebody.
Rick, they're coming after us, Rick. This isn't good. Oakley, could you go to the hurt, please? Corporal Oakley, go to the hurt, please.
And ladies and gentlemen, on top of those G wagons, we have mounted a C6, the general purpose machine guns. It fires a 7.62 NATO round. It's gas operated, air cooled, self fed, with a maximum range of 1.8 kilometers. That's 1,800 meters. What they're now going to be doing is they're simulating they've moved in, they've hit contact, they move forward, and now they're going to withdraw.
It's amazing, Captain, watching them move this turret around by cranking that little handle on the left. As the vehicle turns around, they don't. It's almost incredibly easy to move.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the howitzer I was warning you of before. After they unhook it from the truck, be prepared to cover the ears for the children. It will be quite loud.
What about Dan's pacemaker? What's that, young man? Too late. Here's something you'll never hear, Rick. My, what a big gun. I have nothing to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are soldiers from Fort Superior's very own 13th Field Battery hopping out of the back of the truck getting a howitzer ready to deploy. In command is Sergeant Mark Wilson from Winkler, Manitoba. With him, Master Sergeant Pasturshank, Private Walker, Private Scarf, Private Lamoran, and their driver, Bombardier Lalonde from Winnipeg.
gonna fire it, aren't they?
Here it comes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please stand by. This will be loud. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a C3 105mm howitzer capable of firing high explosive both in ground and air bursts, firing illumination and smoke rounds. It has a maximum range of 18 kilometers and is the primary weapon for the reserve artillery.
18 kilometers it fires.
Reach out and touch someone.
This got Dan after a burrito beat by about a kilometer, I think. There was, Dano. Now this truck, that is a big truck. Tell me something about that if you know anything about that.
Well, this is actually our second largest truck. Our largest truck we parked safely over to the left side. This is the MLVW. It's almost a backbone worker for the Army. It's capable of a maximum speed of 90 kilometers an hour, so it's not going to be breaking any speed limits, but it's capable of carrying up to 5 tons of equipment. This vehicle is deployed in all types of Army missions, including territorial defense, domestic emergencies, and overseas operations.
And this larger truck off to the left, as you mentioned, this is the, look at this thing moving now. That is huge.
Moving in from show left, you can see the heavy logistics vehicle wheeled, the HLVW, capable of carrying up to 15 tons of equipment. And if you look at stage center, you can see the guns moved off and the soldiers have stayed, and they're getting ready to do a section attack. You can see Sergeant Wilson's issuing hand commands. They're going to give a simulated section attack, so they're going to start moving forward, pretend that they've come into contact, and then go through their respective battle drills. You can also be looking to stage right, because once they hit the ground, the Fort Garry Horse are going to launch out and offer support with their machine gun fire.
I can't help but think of our troops in Afghanistan at this time, and as we remember back 65 years to the invasions in Normandy and D-Day, and these units, by the way, represented back then the young lives that were lost and that we remember today on the 65th anniversary. Some of those veterans with us today, too, as we honor them.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, we see the Fort Garry Horse coming, providing overwatch protection and setting up a fire base with their C6 machine guns. The section continues to advance to the left with their C7 assault rifles and C9 light machine gun. If any of you out there have an interest and are over the ages of 18 in firing the C7 assault rifle, come over to the Army side where we'll run you through the basic handling and then the firing of the C7 assault rifle.
Lots of face paint over there, too. I see a lot of the kids with the green camouflage on their cheeks. The helicopters will be coming back in again as well, folks. You'll get a close-up look at the demonstration of what they do low to the ground to support these troops in just a moment.
ladies and gentlemen, the section's completed its tack. It's moved off the left-hand field. It's waiting to get picked up. In the meantime, we have the Fort Garry Horse doing one more drive past. Give you a nice look at the vehicles they have. This is the G-Wagon. This is an operational vehicle that we use overseas with this armored kit. As you can see, it is a coupe up top, giving the gunner a full 360 degrees of coverage so that he can keep the vehicle covered at all times.
Folks, give them a wave. In fact, they can hear your applause, unlike our performers in the air today. And as I mentioned, they don't get a chance to hear that applause very often, so let them know how much we appreciate their service. As we remember today, Rick, you were talking earlier about the vehicle towing the howitzer. They are being replaced as we speak by a new international 2.5-ton truck replacement vehicle, and so that's one of the last times you're going to get to see one of these in public. Beauty.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of you is the HLVW, driven by members of the 17th Service Battalion, reservists from Winnipeg.
Technical demonstration, the Outlaw helicopter, or in the military configuration, of course, the Griffin. Being flown by Captain Mike Duclos, Captain Greg Chorney. Captain Greg Chorney from Boston, Saskatchewan. And Mike Duclos in the cockpit with him from Cadillac, Saskatchewan. And again with finesse, 12,000 pounds of flying machine, moving sideways. Greg and Mike again making this look incredibly easy with more modern avionics on board and flight management systems, but I can assure you they are working this very hard up in the cockpit. Again, both hands full, both feet busy, flying the helicopter sideways and maintaining the altitude precisely as they do it is not an easy thing to do. The wind is the variable. The air today is not steady as you can feel, and they're making it look so easy, especially swinging around the tail of the airplane now. To go around the back end of the airplane like this involves incredible concentration and skill, and again, they're not losing any altitude. That is amazing. Greg Chorney is presently a member of the Training Standards and Evaluation Team in Central Flying School located here in Southport. Senior Standards Pilot for Rotary on the Bell 412 in the Canadian Forces. He's a dual qualified flight instructor, flying the Outlaw that you see here, and the Bell 206 Jet Ranger that's on display, the static aircraft display behind us. He's been posted here for the last 5 years, but prior to that, spent 4 years in Gagetown, New Brunswick, as a tactical navigation specialist and standards officer. 5 years prior to that, at 408 Tactical Helicopter Squadron in Edmonton, Alberta. Captain Chorney's represented Canada on a UN peacekeeping tour in Haiti. He was distinguished at over 4,000 hours on models of the 2 aircraft you see here today. It's great to have him and Mike Duclos, both from Saskatchewan, performing for us. Captain Duclos, one of the only 3 dual qualified flight instructors on the Bell 412, Outlaw, the Bell 206 Jet Ranger here at Southport, has the distinction of serving here in Southport for the previous 10 years as a qualified flying instructor and standards officer. Prior to coming to the school, Mike served 6 years in 408 Tactical Helicopter Squadron, Edmonton, Alberta, where he had the opportunity to deploy in Haiti on the UN peacekeeping mission as well. Mike is over 6,200 hours, mostly on the Bell 206 as well, as the Bell 212 and the 412. The rapid descent now, again around in spirals around the downwash, not wanting to get caught in their own downwash, as I mentioned. As these four rotating wings, a lot quieter and smoother than the old helicopters of the past, the Huey 2 rotating wings. And now pirouetting the helicopter down the shoreline. And that means everything is being coordinated. The two pilots working together as a team. He's moving the rudder pedals, he is moving the control stick and the cycling, the other stick in his hand, as he continually rotates or pirouettes down the shoreline without losing altitude and dealing with the wind. And again, our pilots doing the outstanding and making it look incredibly easy. And again, transition to a stop without getting caught in the downwash. Pull back and up they go. To show you the immense power of this flying machine. Again, 12,000 pounds being lifted into the air rapidly. And you can tug a lot more up underneath it as well. Made at Bell Helicopter Textron, just north of Montreal, Quebec. The Bell helicopter known as the Outlaw here, the Griffin. Some of the rapid descent and some of the tactical maneuvers required of the students here before they move on in the course. Those right now providing air support to our troops in Afghanistan, for example. Again, capable of speeds of over 200 knots, and also, well, your speedometer, your kilometers there, about 480 kilometers per hour. It's a very quick helicopter too, able to climb very quickly, as you can see, and our pilots can stay very close to the ground. So as they fly by, folks, give them a big wave. And as they go by, I'm sure they'll be looking for that from you. Can't hear support, but they can see your appreciation. So give them a huge wave on the way by. Job well done.
guys, it looks like a praying mantis. These things in there.
On a log on the mountain? Helicopters.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, the guys came down and they stopped in Brandon. And they're on the way to setting up towers, hydro towers in Quebec, and then they have to stop in Toronto and the air conditioning.
Captain Hansen joined the Canadian Forces in 19